and welcome to Newsmakers. I'm your host today, Carrie Coogan, and we're talking education with Missouri State Representative Mike Cierpiot. And we're also really excited to be here at inside the Royals Hall of Fame, which is really exciting because after last year's season, they have a bunch of new exhibits and additions here. So did you catch any of the games last year?
A couple in the postseason. I'm looking forward to the new season.
I know. That's great. Well, thanks so much for being here. So talk to me about what's going on in the state of Missouri with regard to education.
We have, as the last couple of years, we've been working on the transfer plan. There's an issue in Missouri. Failed district students can leave and go to neighboring districts. It's caused a lot of problems in St. Louis. And last year we had a bill that the governor vetoed, but we made a lot of progress on it. We actually showed we could work together and get something done. It had a private option, and that's why the governor has vetoed it, or vetoed it last year. This year we've got another bill that addresses the transfer issues, but instead of a private option, it's got expanded charter schools. So it lets children in St. Louis, the thought is, in St. Louis School District, if it becomes unaccredited, it's a much bigger district than the ones that have failed so far. And we want to make sure that the kids that want to leave a failing school, there's empty seats in good buildings for them to go to. And so we're going to allow children to cross district boundaries to attend a good charter school. That's one of the additions this bill has. It also makes the pool of children that are eligible to transfer much smaller, because the law says right now if you reside in a district that's failed, you can transfer. We're saying not only do you reside in the district, you have to attend those district schools, and in fact be in one of the schools that's not doing a good job. Because if you're in a school that's doing a good job, even if you're in a district that's not, that's the whole goal, is to get children in good buildings. And so the ones in good buildings will not be eligible to transfer. It's just the kids that go to failed buildings. They can transfer. Their first choice will be to good buildings in their own district, which keeps them close to home and keeps the money in the district. The second choice will be charters or adjoining districts that have empty seats.
What is going to determine what constitutes a failed building?
We have testing in the state, and if their cumulative scores are between 50 and 70, they're provisionally accredited. But if they're below 50, they're unaccredited, and that's when DESE names that district unaccredited, and that's when the transfer plan would kick in.
And so right now, this really wouldn't affect people in the Kansas City, Missouri school district, since they have provisional accreditation.
That's right. In fact, the last couple of years, Kansas City has made progress to improve, and so they're no longer at the tipping point. I think they're going to be okay. St. Louis is kind of going the opposite direction. Normandy, Riverview Gardens are the two smaller districts that are neighboring to St. Louis that have failed. St. Louis City is one that we're afraid is headed that way, and it's a much, much bigger district. And so the problem is really pressing that we get this fixed.
Okay, talk to me about, there's been a lot of talk in politics, not just here in Missouri, but even across the nation, sort of about the incivility, and people can't really seem to get along, can't seem to get anything done. What's happening, and what are you doing to help try to bridge that divide?
In Jeff City, a lot of people that I talk to, they get Jeff City and Washington mixed up. They think I'm a congressman and I work in Washington. I do not. I go to Jeff City, and we have our partisan issues, but we get along much better. We've passed right to work this year. Democrats don't like it. There's some Republicans that don't like it that come from districts that are labor intensive. And I understand that, but we got through it without causing a lot of trouble. We try not to make things personal. We've also passed TANF reform. TANF is for families that need help, but it's supposed to be temporary. The T in TANF stands for temporary, and we're kind of constricting the number of months they can rely on that, but also putting some education and other things in to get people more in line with the work, so they're able to find a job. Again, that's a tough issue for Democrats and Republicans, but we got through it without a lot of bickering. There's policy differences. There's some basic differences in the parties, but you don't have to be personal when you're talking about this stuff, and that's what we try to do. We try to keep things on the floor civil. You can disagree without breaking out into a fist fight, and that's what we try to do. And both sides do that. It's not just us. The Democrats are very helpful in getting along also.
Well, thank you so much for your time and being here today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but keep up the good work.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that's all the time we have today on Newsmakers, but we'll see you right back here next time.